The answer to Bill's prayers is taking shape 500 miles away in the shadow of Milwaukee's baseball stadium at P&H Mining Company.
The employees in Milwaukee have a lot at stake. Our jobs are at stake to make sure that we do build a quality product and ship it to the customer on time.
Building this behemoth will be a monumental undertaking, requiring both brute force and precision engineering. This is the excavator's boom, a massive arm which will hold up the dipper that scoops the ore. As you'd expect, these guys all wear steel-toed boots and safety glasses. But there isn't a hard hat in sight.
Yeah, well, if you wore a steel hat, probably the only thing you'd see if something dropped on you is a hat and your shoes, that's it.
It's hard for outsiders like a camera crew to recognize the dangers all around.
Let's stand back here. What did I do wrong? What did you do wrong? Well, you went up underneath that boom. We keep everybody out from underneath the suspended loads at all times. Number one thing here is safety. So we'll pull you out of the way to try and keep you safe, but watch yourself.
Safety means never getting under one of these flying giants. Everyone's on the lookout, especially the crane operators.
All right, that's good. Go north, Jim. Go north. You watch where you're at. You always make sure that there's an exit for somebody. You make sure that somebody can get out of the way because you only get one chance here, that's all. Billy, you got them cabinets over there. You got to back up.
A crane operator has to stay focused.
You cannot afford to have a bad day when you run a machine like this. If you have problems at home or you have problems here, you got to put all that aside because what you're doing is people's lives. Back off. Let me take that job out of there. Just back out of there.
Ready?
Across the shop, Randy Rewelinski and his crew have an enormous challenge.
Lonnie's going to hook up to the main. We're going to drop the auxiliary hook, and you got to get in the man lift and get up there and give him a hand hooking it up. Don't stand in line with that fixture.
This is the shovel's base. They need to flip it over to weld the other side. But the 100-ton base is too heavy for the crane.
Our crane capacity has been met, and it's over the crane capacity by 6,000 pounds.
So the factory's engineers have devised a scheme to lift the base using 2 cranes and a super strong pivot.
In theory, if we pick this up,
And they presented their idea to the guys who'd have to do the actual lifting.
So when you lift, you're always going to have some weight on the auxiliary hook. So if something lets go, it's always going to right itself.
Are you guys going to want to stay back here? All right.
Of course, no one knows if the scheme will work.
Okay, here we go.
The pivots are slightly above the center of gravity, making the base heavier on one side. So Randy thinks he knows which way the massive chunk of steel will flip.
Throw me a coffee! One of the operators in the East Crane thought it was going to turn south, and that we had no way of catching it if it did that. So I just asked the crane operator to trust me, that's what's going to happen. And he was a little hesitant, so I bet him a coffee. All right, that was sweet.
It's a hairy move, but the pivots work and nobody gets hurt.
I got a coffee out of it.
They flip the base over. Now the welding can begin.